Hello everyone, this is Admiral Ashyer here. I'm just going to do a quick introduction to some game mechanics that you may or may not know if you are new to Star Trek Online. Here's the open screen. I'm going to engage. I am already to the point where I have characters. I'm going to choose one of my lower level characters here, level 36. I know that a lot of you might be a lot lower than that if you're watching this video, but the mechanics are the same, so let's take a tour. We load up the character here and get a loading screen. There's lots of loading screens in the STO, but let's see here. This screen changes depending on what event is going on. Now I decided to start here at Starfleet Academy. You use your right stick to move the camera around, up and down, back and forth, and your left stick to move. I usually just move forward and then use the camera to turn, like a lot of people do. Down in the lower right, you see your abilities. The square button on the ground, if you hold down, it'll give you different things that you can slot depending on how much you know, what abilities you have. And you can see below the little wheel as you point your stick, your left stick around the wheel, you can use the power, set a quick power, or auto execute. Auto execute is an excellent thing because when you do that for any ability that can be auto executed, then there it says power auto execute whenever possible. Then it's just something else you don't have to worry about because it'll just automatically do it when the time is right. That one can't be, so that's why I have it set by clicking in the stick, the left stick, to my quick power, so that when I press the square button, boom, that's what happens. The L1 button is the same, except for it's with devices that you have, like hypos, or abilities based on your kits that you have. Those kits are inside of your equip character. R2 and R1 are your fire buttons, and circle is your melee. Ooh, there I just tried to hit someone with the butt of my gun. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's go into the menu here. If we press the option button, we go into menu. And your menu will look a lot like this. At the very top, we can see our ship. But it also, on the left, when you're first in there, you can go to your captain, your ship, or your bridge officers. Down below that, officer or officers. Let me see here. We're just talking about captain, and here's all your different items that you have. You could have two different weapons that you can cycle between on your captain, but only on your captain. And your bridge officers get one, and they just do what they do. These are those kits that give you different abilities. Sometimes you can have universal kits that are pretty neat, get through events or buy on the exchange through different means. And then there's ones that are specific to your type of character, tactical, engineer, or science. And grenade is like one that, tactical officers usually start out with. Kit frame is something that I don't have on her yet, but you can get later in the game that boosts things like your critical stats and things like that, and it just affects all of your other kits and stats. Shield is a good one to have, no matter what, a good one, because that's the shield around you that takes damage first before your body takes, which has body armor on it, better body armor, longer you'll last on the ground. No matter what, ground is a little funny, just because it's an older system. Your stats just kind of tell you stuff to keep track of. Your career for yourself, this tab is not very important. However, when you go to your bridge officers, like if you started out with the Discovery introduction, you probably ended up with a different person, but through this, I did the Next Generation, and I ended up with Elisa Flores, and I tab over the R2 to stats and then career. Here in career, you can promote your officer using your specialization points, or if you need to, you can dismiss over there. All right, let's go back up here. We'll get to the ship when we get into space. If we use the R1 and L1 buttons, we go through those tabs at the top. R1 is inventory. And there you've got an entire set of things on the side there. Inventory is just the stuff you have sitting around that you pick up or that you're holding on to. Right now she just has this Singularity Core for Romulan Warbird for some reason. I don't know why. R1 is where all of the people who've showed up to be bridge officers that you haven't chosen to have be a bridge officer yet sit and wait. If you have some there, when you select them, they all want to join your team, or you can press that triangle down there, convert them to a manual, and then you can use them to create a manual and train another bridge officer on that ability. There I could turn this person into attack pattern Omega 3, and that one's actually not a bad manual. Let me do that. So I'll press OK, and then in my inventory there is the training manual attack pattern Omega 3. And I can train one of my bridge officers in that ability. The away team just shows, you know, who's in your away team. Let's go down to, and as you see here, these subcategories were all those tabs, you know, so captain and bridge officers and ship were all in that first. Inventory was the next thing around, and the recruit and away team there. So, and here in skills, you got your own captain skills that keeps track of your traits, your skills that you've spent, and in space and on the ground. The specializations you don't have to worry about until you're much higher. Cruise stations now. That's where we can go. Oh, here in space. I've got these seats. You probably have a lot less if you're earlier in the game, seats on your ship, but the principle is the same. Suppose I want to use that attack pattern Omega 3 that I just made. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it here. No. Omega 1 is the highest I can go there. But when you go here, you have to have a training manual in there. And you click X on that ability, and you have a training manual for, you know, beams fire at will 3. You click on that, and then they learn it, and then you click on it again to activate it, and it becomes the ability that they are slotted with. Same with your away team ground, which apparently I have no one signed up to be on my away team on the ground. I don't know why. Maybe this character has never been on the ground. That's very strange, but so be it. There, that's a decent away team. 2 scientists, attack, and an engineer. And they all just come in with some default abilities that they do. Alright, here is your missions. Mission journal is keeping track of your story. Active missions are all the things that you've been doing. If you want to look at the overall everything you see up at the top, you L1 over to episodes. It tells you how complete you are on different parts of the stories. You might not be able to see all these if you haven't unlocked them, but apparently right now I'm just in the middle of the Klingon War, and that's it. So I'm on the second, after Welcome to Earth's Baked diplomatic orders. Somehow I got to captain without doing any of those missions. Active missions, these are all things they want me to do, all these things, because once you've done the game once through, it unlocks everything and just pours it all on you at once. Incoming hails here. We have a record of everyone who's ever said anything to you in your different missions. Accolades is things you earn. It's not really important. Logs, not really important. That's, you know, communications, captain's log, all the different things that you've ever done in the entire game. So if you wanted to go back really and look through it, there's your captain's log. Alright, PvE task force operations is where you do group things. These are all group stuff that you do with other players. Up at the top you've got patrols that you can do, different things from different parts of the game. PvP, player versus player, and create private. Those are all things for later in the game. And those are also down here because I should do those tabs. The events, that is what's currently going on, and that depends on Cryptic. What they're doing right here is the final days of the Battle of the Binary Stars through November 3rd, 2020, and I've already finished that. Otherwise I'd be able to join that and do it. On my higher characters I can go ahead and get bonus dilithium for doing that, and here's the campaign that was going on. I've already completed that, and the summer one is ended, and you can't even do anything with it. Don't know why it's even there, except for that there's the event store, and you can go back in and buy things that you didn't buy when you had the chance, when it was going on. So they keep the stores there just in case you've got different things. Okay. Duty officers. Here you can assign duty officers. See, you've got a roster of different duty officers that come with different packs. The further you get in the game, like here's one that I got when they were giving away the lower decks duty officers. And that person is a medical person, nurse, and they do specific things if you slot them in the active. Otherwise, at the top you go assignments, you get different assignments here to get commendations. Like this is a science one. We need to audit the application for credentials of a geologist, but I don't have a geologist, so I can't do that mission. Now you can filter those out by showing ready with the triangle button down below, and I only have 4 that I could possibly do. And there's one, define exobiological process based on new data, and I press the square button to begin that assignment. And now I look there, and in progress, there's 1 out of 20. I can do 20 at a time. The most important stuff is the active people. These are people that affect things constantly while you're doing things. So here's one that's assault squad officer. That's probably a lower deck. Yeah. She gives me 20% chance of adding secondary shields whenever I use my tactical team. So she's a good one, to have right off the bat there. Yeah. And there's different ones, science, people, development, reuse time for recharge, science team, and buff. And those are passives, so they happen all the time while you're doing stuff. They also have duty officers for the ground, like medical. Damage resist debuff when most science kit debuffs are applied. So, boom, he helps things move smoother for all my people when they're on the ground. Now that I have people to put on the ground. Research and development. These are schools. Right away, you only have 1 empty slot, so you can set 1 research lab going. And the first thing that you probably want to do is go all the way down and start research the school itself, because in progress there. Now it's going to take a day, but it gives you experience, and you can get those schools up to level 15 where you can make some really cool stuff eventually. That's probably the longest thing in the game, is to level up your research and development laboratories. I never use the navigation tab here because you use that on your quick menu. I'll show you that in a second. Social and team, that's where you can see your fleet. Here we are in the Void, and we can see all the people on in the Void right now. And you can also see like the fleet holdings, and there's nothing to give to right now. Right at the end of a lot of stuff, there's the coffers where you could dump in, battery luxury, or you can grind those on the planet if you want, on the colony world. There are usually different things that heads make. You could put dilithium into the star base and get some credit, some fleet credit for that. That's where you get to that. So fleet holdings. You can also check your mail there if you want to, but in order to send and receive items, you need to be at a mailbox, whether it's on Space Dock or anywhere, an official mailbox. Otherwise, you can't collect an item or send it. The store is where you find your Zen store. Dilithium store, buying things with refined dilithium. Dilithium exchange is for later in the game. Purchasing Zen is part of the Zen store, and there's all your game options. The one thing I forgot to show everyone here is in your inventory, you go down to assets. You got all different kinds of inventory here in the assets. Every day you want to go over here to the dilithium section and press X to refine dilithium. I can't on this character, I have no ore. But once you do this game for a while, you'll end up with tons and tons of ore, but you can only refine 8,000 a day, and a lot of things cost dilithium, and they're going to cost a lot of dilithium. So every day you want to refine all 8,000 dilithium as much as possible, because in that store, when you press square, you get special items that you can get for dilithium. There's 40,000 for a prize pack of 10 Phoenix prize pack that can win you tier 6 ships. It's going to be able to win you the tier 6 upgrades when they come out. It's going to be able to get you all sorts of different goodies, including the best things called Phoenix upgrades to upgrade your equipment once you get at a higher level. I put my weapon away there by holding the triangle button. Now if I hold the X button, I get this quick menu of captain commands here, and that's, you know, you can go right to these different things. Also where you can change your outfit, and, you know, find your lost bridge officers on an away mission. By doing that, they come running or beam back to you. It's a quick way to do a lot of different things. But right now I'm going to show you chat there. I went over to the chat window in the upper left. If we use the R2 and the L2 buttons, we cycle through these different channels there, and I can see fleet and Armada. Armada talks to every fleet in the Void Armada. Fleet talks to just the Void fleet. But when you put that out there, you hold the X button for a second and it pops up this, and I'll go, hello all. R2 to put it up there, and then square to send it to everybody. Now, that's also where you can do emotes. If you're really interested, let's go back to chat, and then when we're in this box there, you press the triangle for menu, and then there's emotes. And you can cycle through by using R2, and I'll do a salute. Salute. Yeah, okay, we salute. And now I'm going to beam up to my ship. And since I'm at the Academy, there's many different options. I will just beam up to the Sol system, which brings me in orbit of Earth, right by space dock. We get another loading screen here, and then we will be in space. And I will change to a ship that is more like a beginning ship for purposes of this video. And this is another little trick that a lot of people don't know off the bat. It's there, but a lot of people miss it. Okay, I'm up in space here. The camera is the same, goes around. Moving the stick moves your ship, you know, back and forth, up and down. Oh, look at that. Captain Janeway said, hey, oh, okay. Let's see. I press the options button. And we go ship, ship. And then here on my ship there, down the bottom, you see switch ship. Press triangle. That gives me a list of all the ships I have. So I'm going to go to the Katana. It's a light cruiser, so that's probably a tier 1 ship. It'll warp out and then warp right back into the same instance in my new ship. And all of the bridge officers. So let's see here. Ship. Yep. This is a tier 1 ship. So you cannot rename your ship in orbit. You have to be on the ground or at space dock to do that. At any rate, 4 weapons. The weapons that are in front. You can choose, here's a light cruiser, so it can be cannons and beams, but I would say cannons or beams personally, because if you mix them, it draws more power. And there are abilities that work based on whether you do a beam or a cannon, and it's just easier to choose one. So let's choose beams since there's only a couple of them there. We'll do that engagement, that phaser and a torpedo, and then in the back we will put another phaser. There's a phaser beam. So it's got a phaser in front, phaser in back, and a torpedo. Devices are consumable things like weapons battery, and that will end up on a wheel, just like those hypos did for your ground. I only have weapons batteries. We put 2 different ones on this ship. Every ship needs a shield, a deflector, an impulse engine, and a warp engine in order to move and stuff. This is the best one I got here, so I'm going to put a level 6, Mark 6 shield on there. Oh, let's see, these are all standard issues. That's probably the best one I've got. They all look exactly the same, so it doesn't matter. Impulse engines. Oh, what's that? That's neat. That's not good, though. It looks cool, but it's not cool. There's the Mark 6 so that one's a little faster. And the warp engine there, they're all the same, warp factor 5 speed. So that's the best I can do right now. Oh, it went more back. It went up to warp factor 8.56, so that's cool. Engineering console, we pick something in the lower levels, pick something that will increase your hull. Hopefully, there's one I've got that increases hull restoration and capacity, so I'm going to put that in there. Science Council, let's see, you probably want something that's good for shields, or, oh, there's a shield regeneration rate, or for a science ability, you know, EPG, electroplasma generator, exotic particle generator, sorry. Let's see, in the tactical, we'll want to do something, oh, look at that, plus 10% beam weapon damage. Let's put that in there, unless one of these two things is phaser. Oh, and it does phaser, so 5.6 phaser damage or 10% beam weapon damage. So that's better. I'll put that in there. So now we've got better beams, better shields, a better hull. It sounds like somebody's being silly around here, so I will try and move away from them. They're making noise. And I did that by pressing the up button. If you see in the lower left of the screen is your thrusters. Right now we're stopped, then we go up one, that's 1/4, 1/2, 2, 3/4 thrusters and full thrusters, and then if you hold down the up button, if you're not near space dock, which I currently am, let's see, too close to space dock. Thruster is only near space dock. Yeah, it just keeps going. Boy, oh boy. Trying to get away from space dock here. There we go. See how it's flashing? Now I'm at full impulse. And we're getting away from space dock there. And all the people making all sorts of goofy noises and things. Okay, now let's go and review one more thing before I show you the wheels and the quick buttons, and then that'll be it for this session. Crew stations now, we're in space. So I have 3 seats in here, a tactical officer, science officer, and an engineering officer in here. Let's see, this guy's got torpedoes. High yield is what he knows, and you can teach him these other things if you get them. Personally, I would probably want to have the beams overload 1, because that makes your beams more powerful, but this makes your torpedoes more powerful. It's an ability that will be able to be set to the red button. Same with the yellow button here, emergency power to shields. That's a pretty good one for the beginning, because emergency power, you can set it anywhere, but only one place at a time. You know, weapons, shields, you know, engines. Tachyon beam 1 is not a bad science ability to begin with. It is something that does things to the other people's ship. See, it says drains the shield each pulse. So basically you are using your deflector dish to drain your opponent's shields. And that's a pretty neat use for that science. So down here in the lower right you see the circle. That's the only thing I have. Right now I've got to execute 10 seconds after combat. You can change it, cycle through by pressing R1. I'll just set it to auto execute whenever possible. Triangle, there's only that one ability. Emergency power to shields will auto execute when any of your shields are less than or equal to 50% strength. That's a pretty good place to put it, because if your shields start going down, you want emergency shields. And that's basically telling your bridge officers to do their jobs when they're supposed to do their jobs, rather than you having to press the buttons. But you can always set them to press the buttons. You know, you can still, I could set that, press that button right now, and there is emergency power to shields, just because I'm the captain and I feel like pressing it. And then there's that one with the tachyon beam. So average shield strength greater than or equal to 75%. In other words, they got really strong shields, hit them with that tachyon beam so that it goes away. L2 is all your captain's abilities and maneuvers. These are things that you get through your skills or your career path. Like attack pattern Alpha 3 is tactical only. Ramming speed, fire on my mark, also tactical initiative. Evasive maneuvers is what I like to have on R2, because when you're moving around, and you're going back and forth. If you hit that evasive maneuvers, suddenly you can go really quick for a short period of time. See how it's clicking down 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds, and it's over, you know, and you get used to how long that lasts. And there are different things to make it last longer or move faster, things like that, recharge faster. L1 button is all your stuff that you have. The reiterative structural capacitor was one of those things that I put into the engineering slot that boosted my hull and stuff. It also had a power, which is to target or self 20 seconds heal allies within 4 kilometers for 25% of damage taken the previous second. So I can set that by clicking the button in so that I can do that whenever I need to. Those weapons batteries, but I can auto execute those whenever I need one there. Full impulse is just a quick button for holding the up button, so you never have to use this one. And there's the other weapons battery, so it doesn't, you know, that's already set to auto execute. So, and this is what the reiterative structural capacitor looks like. Boom, there, and now it's, and anyone who is near me would be able to gain health. I want to look closer at my ship. You go cycle camera distance. There's 3 different levels. There's close up, medium, far away. Okay. Now, on this quick button here in space, you have still the chat and that camera. You can depart the current system you're in and go to sector space. You can transwarp. Transwarp will bring up a list of places you can go. Part of the fleet, you can go to these different places whenever your transwarp is ready to go. It does need to cool down between jumps, but the places that you can go depend on how far you are in the game. The further you get in the game, the more places you can go. Also, the further you get into your ambassadorial missions within the duty officers, and that's a complicated one, so if that confuses you, forget it. Doesn't matter. They'll bring up different places like Deep Space Nine. The hard way, you depart system, is to just go to sector space. And here we're loading up beta quadrant, because that's right next to the alpha quadrant. The Earth is kind of on the border of beta and alpha. Behind you will be the Sol system. You click in the pad on the top of your controller and you can zoom in and out of this big sector map. There I am there. My camera's facing backwards towards the Sol system. This is the line between alpha quadrant and beta quadrant. Straight down from the Sol system is Vulcan and Doria. Let's go out further. And different sectors all over the place. You can go someplace by just highlighting it and then clicking the X button, and then your ship auto navigates there, and you're at warp. And you can see up in the upper right hand corner, there's your map. See my little triangle heading straight to Vulcan. So we're going to visit our pointy-eared neighbors, who are always illogical until they're not. Funny how that works. So, you get within the suns, enter Vulcan system by pressing X, and here we are, we're loading. So we just went from Earth to Vulcan the hard way. And you can get anywhere the hard way just by navigating around, going to different quadrants. Let's see, I think we've arrived at Vulcan system. And there's a mission here. I'm going to press back because there's a mission in progress. That's why the ops says, because it's the beginning of an entire mission story arc here at Vulcan that I don't want to do at present. So I can hold down that button and depart the system, because I'd rather not play through that mission right now. In fact, I'm keeping this character at this level so that I always have a low level character, so I don't want to play through any missions. Alright, and we'll be back in sector space. We can go anywhere from here. The mission you currently have as primary will be in primary mission, and if you want to go directly there, you can press transwarp, and it'll ask you, do you want to go to this starting location? You press OK, and you'll end up there. So that's a way to keep track of. Most of them will let you transwarp there, otherwise it'll have you auto-navigate, unless it's one thing that's really hard. then you're going to have to find it on your own, depending on what the mission says when you go to missions and look at what your active mission is. This one says Lost and Found is what I'm doing, Commander. Mina of Deep Space Nine has requested your assistance with a delicate matter involving the Cardassian Bajor. So, or to Commander Saris Mina at Deep Space Nine. So, if I didn't have that option and I didn't have the navigate option, I would just have to go over to the Alpha Quadrant and make my way all the way over towards Deep Space Nine by the wormhole, and then I could start that mission. And that's where you find the list of what is going on in the game or what you are currently undertaking in the game. Hope that answers most of the questions for people right there. Right in the middle below, as you can see, is those weapons. R2 with your beams and R1 with your torpedoes. Oh yeah, one last thing. Over on the lower left, just to the right of your shields and hull strength, which is 100% right now, you can see whether you've got your weapons, your shields, your engines, or your aux power as primary. And as you see, I put it on aux right there. Aux is filling up to 100%, and the other ones are going down to less. I like keeping it on weapons, but that's just me. Depends on your build, depends on your character, depends on what you like. Alright, thanks for watching. See you later.